Welcome to Holistic Accountant Podcast, where we aim to showcase how adopting a holistic approach in accounting and tax maximizes value for clients. Beyond traditional tasks like preparing financial statements and tax returns, a holistic accountant focuses on offering advice that maximizes personal wealth on an after-tax basis. If you enjoy this episode, please consider leaving a rating and sharing it with those who might also benefit. And to ensure you stay updated, subscribe to our weekly email. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so today Mena and I would like to talk about business coaches. In fact, what we'll do is just take in turns of talking about some of the positives of having a business coach or engaging the services of a business coach. And whilst it shouldn't be ever underplayed, accountability is probably the biggest factor that a business coach or value that a business coach can add. Just holding you accountable for completing certain tasks within a certain time frame. There's a business coach called Marshall Goldsmith. In fact, he's been often voted the best business coach in the world, and he coaches a lot of Fortune 500 CEOs and so forth. Anyway, he's and there's a few documentaries about him, and he's written a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There, which is fantastic. And he pays someone every day to ring him up and ask him 3 questions, just sort of 3 accountability questions, things that he knows that if he ticks those boxes, he's going to have, not every day, but most days he's going to have a happy life. And often, he's often asked, why do you pay someone to call you up? And he recognises that unless you have someone holding you accountable to do certain things, and remember, he kind of almost wrote the textbook on coaching and accountability, he realises himself that even he wouldn't be able to do or achieve what he's achieved without that accountability. So it's really easy to overlook it or say, I'll keep myself accountable. But the reality is, for most of us, we don't have the discipline. We get sucked into the minutiae of daily life. And so having someone accountable, if we're running our business, to ask us, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you executed your business plan this year? Creates a lot of value.
Yeah, and you touched on something I was about to say in terms of the fact that you get really bogged down into the business when you're starting it up, or even as you could be well and truly into operating it. And it's really important to have a different perspective, a fresh set of eyes that can provide new ideas, new techniques, make you think about things that you might not necessarily have experience with, or things that might actually take your business to the next level. So having that person to help you work on the business rather than in it is really, really crucial.
Another advantage they can provide is, and I'm not really sure what word best sort of describes this, whether it's process or technique. In fact, maybe I can explain it by using an analogy. So for anyone that goes to the gym, works out, or even plays any sort of sport, they know technique is just as important as effort. How you do a particular exercise, and if you do it correctly, it's far more effectual than not having the right technique. And the same is true with business. How do you deal with a particular human resource issue? How do you make sure that your sales team is talking to the operational side? How do you make sure that you've got the right accountability measures within your business? All this sort of stuff has been worked out before you, and there's often techniques and strategies and processes that you can implement that a business coach can help you design.
And it's important to know who you're working with. Someone that's got to be reputable, known. They're saying a poor man can't teach a poor man how to be rich. It really comes to play when it comes, for business coaches. If they don't have experience actually operating their own businesses, or had previous experience operating their own businesses, or coaching, or being mentors for other people, then you really got to be questioning who you're using.
Yeah, definitely. I think so, Mena. And whilst I think it's unfair to expect Richard Branson to be your coach, of course, to have zero business experience, I find it difficult. Myself, personally, I don't think I could agree to pay someone if they hadn't sort of walked in my shoes. And so I think that's a really important one. Now, of course, if you do engage a business coach, typically the expense will be fully tax deductible, which will obviously defray some of the cost. Of course, if you haven't yet started the business, so it's kind of pre-revenue, that's more likely to be a capital cost than a deductible cost. But obviously, if your business is running, you should get the deduction for it.
I might just add that, business coaches are a good sounding board as well. When you're starting out your own business, if you're not in the same network as other business owners and so forth, it can get quite lonely. So you might not be able to sort of bounce ideas off people to see what they're experiencing and what they're not experiencing, and what's common and what's not common. So they can be a good sort of sounding board to provide new ideas and initiatives for you.
It can be a lonely world to build your own business, because you don't have necessary people to bounce ideas off. So that's right, Mena. Of course, to go and find a business coach, anything that has a high level of trust and value, I would go by referral. So I'd just go and ask around who's got a business coach, who's enjoying their experience. In my experience, it's not a forever relationship, or rarely a forever relationship. I tend to find the people that have had business coaches, even really successful ones, the relationship tends to only last no more than 2 or 3 years. I guess there's only so much one person can teach you. And so even turning business coaches over every now and again, finding the next person to learn from, it might be a good way to do it. But I think keep the cost in perspective as well. If you've got a plan to go from A to B, and that A to B is a substantial improvement on your profitability, then perhaps investing a few dollars to maximise the probability of you being able to make that leap might end up being one of the best investments you make in your life. So there you go. That's a bit about business coaches from our perspective. Certainly think they're very worthwhile if you have the right coach. Okay, that's it for now. Bye for now.